Samsung Networks Innovation Center. We have Kaylee here. Introducing the Samsung Networks Innovation Center. And this pretty much shows the history of innovation and various milestones all along the years. Started off in 1999 when Samsung Networks was established.
In the U.S.
In the United States. And then the inroads at that time was the 3G commercial network, which was very prevalent at that time in 1999. The Samsung Research America, which is our own group as well, was established in the Silicon Valley. And then we started.
Who's the operator for 3G network?
We had Verizon and also Sprint at that time. The Sprint network in Puerto Rico was the first one that we launched on the 3G CDMA video. And on the 3G indoor small cell, we started with Verizon, deployed the UB cells. You would have heard about femtocells back in the day. We had a 1X version, which is part of 3G. Then we had EVDO Rev 0 and Rev 8. And then we slowly moved on to a business class network extender. Verizon calls it the network extender, the femtocell solution. So that was all 3G UV cell. And during the same time, WiMAX was also commercially launched. This is again with Sprint. And then in 2009, the 5G research program was initiated, again part of the SRA. In 2010, actually we are the first one to launch the LTE network for Metro PCS. Okay, the Samsung Networks is the first one to do the commercial launch for Metro PCS. That's when the 4G LTE started gaining momentum. During the same time, we also had a portfolio of products with Verizon on the small cell. We are talking about the LTE residential femto, which is also known as S-femto, and Verizon calls it the indoor femtocell for the 4G. We also launched the enterprise version around that time. They call it the E-femto. And those are pretty much serving the indoor locations. In 2017, the 5G fixed wireless access commercial solution again was deployed in Verizon, Sacramento. This is the one that is using the millimeter wave solution. So that is the first offering. At the same time, you are working in 2018 with FCC to get regulatory approval, and the first launch of 5G Home, which is Verizon's solution with the CPEs, the fixed wireless access was made commercial. Moving on to 2019, first to launch the 5G NR commercial network. We also launched Open RAN, compliant CBRS fixed wireless network, and millimeter wave network. And this is the time when the vRAN also became more prominent, the vRAN 1.0, which was an offering for VCU, the virtualized centralized unit, which does the user plane and control plane management. So that is where the VCU part came in. And at that very same time, you see here with the 6G research program initiated. So that's where the research is ongoing right now. In 2020, we introduced 100% virtualized RAN. So by this, in the initial 1.0 part of the vRAN solution was just the VCU part, where you had a distributed unit, but then you launched the user plane and control plane virtualized centralized unit. But now in 2020, the distributed unit is completely virtualized. So the baseband can be on any COTS servers. That's what we're going to be looking at, some of the vRAN demonstrations over there. And that's where 100% virtualization occurred which means now pretty much every call that you make is completely virtualized end to end, with the VDUs currently working with the VCUs and the core network. We acquired Teleworld Solutions to expand deployment services, because right now we're doing a lot of deployment on the 4G and the 5G front. The entire network for major operators like Verizon, AT&T and others, it's getting expanded. We also have new mobile MVNOs, cable companies that are working with us, where we need that kind of support to do the deployment at that pace. So it's a very rapid deployment going on the Verizon and others right now, where 4G and 5G is being deployed, and this team is helping with all the deployment services. So it's a lot of undertaking. You're talking about 2,000 sites a month. It's a massive deployment right there. So one thing to note is the O-RAN solution is again a very industry-changing solution or an initiative, because we have our baseband units can talk to different vendors' radios, and at the same time our radios are also O-RAN compliant, that can talk to other vendors' baseband units. So it works both ways. So that O-RAN solution is one of the key aspect. In 2021, we launched the MCPTX nationwide. This is with AT&T. The commercial mid-band 5G network is the one on the C-band solution. This is again completely virtualized with the VDU. You basically can implement this on any COTS servers. Some of the vendors, co-vendors we have worked with are Wind River, Dell, HP, Intel, Red Hat. So we have a lot of IoT being done to prove this solution, and it's completely virtualized end to end. So the commercial 5G network, which is currently getting deployed in massive scale, is the Verizon's ultra wideband, which uses the massive MIMO 6040, 64R. It also uses other variants in the C-band and 77 frequency, and they have scaled in the past 1 year to 10,000 plus Samsung sites. So it's a heavy deployment in the ultra wideband, and they now are able to tap in true 5G potential with the C-band products and other variants that we have, including millimeter wave and fixed wireless access. So a lot of deployment on the 5G side. We're still enhancing their 4G network because they do want to hold on to that network. A lot of deployment also being done on that front in both indoors and outdoors. And we have a whole bunch of products over there that we're gonna have a look at, so you'll get a better understanding. In 2022, we initiated the commercial deployment of nationwide cloud-native 5G vRAN O-RAN network. So again, this solution that we have is now in its third iteration. We started with vRAN 1.0, 2.0, and now it's in the 3.0 version, where a lot of changes have happened. We started with the VCU in 1.0, then we added VDU in 2.0, and now with the 3.0 variant, it is now becoming more open RAN as well. So you can still interface other radios. You can still have a solution where you can tap into extra benefits of the 3.0 version, like 200 megahertz. You saw the throughput this morning. That is based off of the vRAN 3.0. And we continue to basically build deployment around the cloud native 5G vRAN O-RAN network. All the software that is being provided right now, it's very seamless and interoperable with a bunch of co-vendors that we are working with, and it follows open source Kubernetes, OpenStack, whichever offerings are available. It's easy to orchestrate the network with a cloud native solution. Also, the software is being built with the intention of it being cloud native. So you're completely following the open source Kubernetes to build those softwares. Also, the 5G MSO commercial network deployment with the Strand mount cell. Right now, we have Comcast that is very much interested in this solution with Strand. It's one of a kind product. If you look at their network, Comcast has the overhead power lines. So this small cell is nothing but a DU, radio, and an antenna all in one. You can pretty much have it on the overhead cables, tap into the RF and the power from that, and that terminates over to their CMTS, cable modem termination system. So anything in terms of deployment that you need is just the splicing of the cable, inserting this unit in between, and it's a plug-and-play solution. The moment it connects to their backhaul and the termination system, this Strand is going to come into service. So we have already completed the trial, the commercial deployments pretty much being planned for the year. And 2023 launched first greenfield 5G network utilizing ORAN compliant vRAN nodes and the radios. So the VDUs right now are pretty much open RAN. You can have Samsung radios, other vendor radios. Companies like Dish are using some of that open RAN solutions. They are having Samsung vRAN VDUs interface with Fujitsu radios. At the same time, we are also integrating our radios, and same thing goes for the radios as well. Pretty much everything is open RAN. Most of the products that you see over there.